Good morning, Ashley. Forgot to say hi.
Morning.
Okay, board. Meeting order, 9 AM. Need a motion to approve the agenda as presented by Jason.
I'll make the motion.
Dar,
Adel second.
all in favor,
I
opposed? Motion carried. You have the minutes of the March 16th meeting. Anybody find any additions, deletions, corrections? I hear none. Motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Bob, second.
Adel second.
All in favor?
Hey,
Opposed? Carried.
roll. The new president report. For.
Oh boy, learning process.
It was. Again.
Okay. How do you want to do this?
Okay, would like to explain everything.
Grant summary,
Yeah, so we have changed this format. The grant summary is a little more condensed from the old. I feel like I should have actually provided the old ones. We could compare and contrast, but this has now, instead of all the individual budget categories, which Jason and I will continue to track with HCR, this is more of a roll up that's just hopefully easier for the board to understand. So it has the individual grants and then the general fund grant match. So that's the 50K per grant that we put in. So it's currently, our budget for that's currently $100,000. So you see the end dates of the grants, the budget column, what's spent to date. And then this is new where I added in the percentage spent. So it's just clearer on how far along we are with that specific grant. And then the remaining dollar amount. The last three columns, cash received is what we've gotten from HCR already. Pending requests is what I've submitted to HCR to be approved. And then that available to request is what's left to draw from HCR. So the remaining and the available to request might not always match because that's the difference between if we've gotten advance funds or if we're still waiting for HCR to give us money. The other newer addition is that holding class expenses unassigned box. So this here is, I had explained in a previous meeting that Glenn has set up in our QuickBooks a class designation where things that haven't gone on a disbursement request live until they do go on a disbursement request. So that there is. Oh, we're getting feedback from you, John, I think. That box there is just meant to indicate like there's $731 that's not in the spent to date column. So sometimes that might be 10,000, 40,000, but it's so you guys can make better decisions. It hasn't been assigned to a grant yet, so it can't actually go in one of the grant lines. So you'll be able to know, like, we've spent 1.1 million to date, but we have this extra X amount of dollars that is also spent. It's just not assigned to a grant. And that's really just due to the nature of our grants have flexibility. So sometimes HCR is telling us, no, put it in this grant and versus that grant. And it created a lot of confusion before. So the holding class is just this place where it can sit until it's decided, exactly. So that's a grant summary. Is that part pretty clear? Okay.
Yeah, I like the available to request at the end, because we can look at it, so now it might be. Tell me if this is true, looking at the available request of 102, 291. Just quickly glancing that on, like in a meeting, they could say that 102, 291 is taken out for the demo of this, the rehab of this, the next one. I think we could easily split out that available to request money to where it's gonna go into what project. Just for conversational purposes during meetings, so we can, the number, does that 102 is, all that money is pretty much earmarked, right? Like,
Yeah, and that actually becomes more clear on the next page, so I'll talk about that. Yeah.
I was trying to segue, but there we go.
Yeah, so the cash summary, really quickly on page 1 at the bottom. This is meant to just tie back to our bank account, and so we have the QuickBooks balance for both Land Bank Initiative account and general fund. And then will add in any pending disbursement requests, so that total there will always match the total of the pending requests in the column in the grant summary chart. And then undeposited funds, that is just if we have checks that have been given to Glenn and haven't been deposited yet. And the subtracting out the general fund grant match, so that also matches up to the remaining in the column above for the grant summary for general fund grant match. So that's just to say, like, that's already allocated, so we can't consider it money that the general fund has. And then this piece we hadn't been capturing before, but the borrowed from general fund, so 26,000 had been borrowed from the general fund to give to the Land Bank Initiative, and it's owed back. So that's how we're tracking that there. So this helps Darwin would alleviate all the concerns Darwin had about that. So the total cash at the bottom might not match the balances in the bank account, but it's exactly what we know should be in each by the end of the day, once transfers are made and everything. Any questions on cash summary? No, okay, page 2, so this is an insight that we hadn't had in the last treasurer's report, where it actually shows what we're spending by property. I have to report this to the HCR team. So instead of me having to recreate this, I've copied and pasted what I'm reporting over to them and sharing it back with you all. This here has, as we get grants added, we'll add more columns, so it might become a bigger sheet. But essentially, it's just showing, if you look at the first SHARS 2023-0024, that's the phase 2. There's a column for dispersed, so that dispersed is what HCR has paid us, and that ties back to the grant summary page. It's what's in the cash received column. So those figures, it's $1 off for phase 2, but rounding. So that dispersed column total will always match what is in our cash received total from the previous grant summary. And then committed is what, when Jason and John and Brad and I go through and talk about budgets, we're reporting to the state what we've committed to spend with contracts that we've agreed to, or just planning. And so that will show you more about what's already committed. And if you look at phase 2, we're at 97% of those dollars have been fully committed.
To jump in real quick, so then what's gonna be tough for her is that when we move stuff from property to property, there's a little bit of work there, but if we say that we have 97% committed. That's towards, we can take a big chunk committed, like 31 Grove Street, we have committed 253,215. Well, if it ends up being more than that, we can move it from a different line, and if committed will still be the same, it'll just be, Jason has to change it within the lines, because we don't always just say it's committed if it's under contract. If we're planning to keep it on, we do too. But once it's under contract, it becomes firm, so we kind of have an extra layer in there that we left off because we're moving it around from project to project so much, because of timelines and stuff like that. No, I just want to say that, but.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So the phase 2 budget is 701. We've spent 680. Is that what I'm seeing? That's the correlation there, and that's the difference of the 3%.
Yeah, it's not actually necessarily spent.
Under contract.
It could be
Right.
under contract or budgeted as well, yes, exactly. So that percentage across the bottom, we talked about it in a meeting with Darwin, that percent complete might not be the right term, because it doesn't mean that the project is complete, it means that we've committed to spending that much money. So the percentages are as a total of the budget, as you said, Brian.
Yeah, because that grant line is complete.
Yeah.
Okay,
And this is helpful because we kept saying, we're not gonna get the $2 million until we get to X
Yeah.
percentage, and so I wanted to make sure that was actually somewhere on a piece of paper for us to reference.
and I might be jumping ahead, but we have been approved for that 2 million.
Yeah.
We've got to spend this down.
Before we start actually receiving the award, but we have 15 days to get the documents in anyway. When we open, between the controlled demo and the Grover Street today, we want to spend another $500,000, so we're in a great position. They wouldn't have given it to us, they didn't interview with us first. They've denied a bunch of land bids. They said, you guys are gonna be committed, you got it in on time, you're not close enough, there's only so much money, we'll go with the ones that are closest, so us and a couple others, we're close enough where we got it, so.
And this is what they see.
It's actually a little different format in theirs, because it's a really long spreadsheet, but I condensed it down for our purposes. And then it's sorted too by projects we're still working on, and then ones that we've completed with the grant. At the bottom, and then you can see the total committed at the end, so you can very clearly see per project what we're spending and allocating to these properties.
So we really only are spending out two properties on that right now, the Second Street and 4-6 Main Street.
Yeah, for the
Only two that
capital,
we're pulling.
That are actually pulling out.
yes,
Grover will be as soon as we get it under contract as well, next month.
And that will go into the LBI 2, Grover Street will move over,
it,
or,
We're gonna probably need book for.
yeah, I think that'll probably be discussed later on in the meeting, right?
Okay,
What we have to,
Sorry,
Yeah.
people.
so that's the treasurer's report.
I like it.
Good. Thank you.
All right. Motion to approve the. Second. Any other discussion? Other than I'll say, good job, I like it. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries, so make sure my pages are correct here. Looking to funding,
Yes, like we just talked about, we got awarded the $2 million for the land bank initiative. It's huge because it came at a time where we can end one, we're not gonna have a gap like we did last year. We're gonna blend in this one, will blend right in the next one. It comes with 100,000 program delivery, which we talked about last meeting that we needed drastically. We were gonna end up spending some of our coveted unrestricted money for admin, which we didn't wanna do, so that kind of gets us out of that problem. We will be able to, we originally were gonna open these bids for Grover Street today, and we weren't gonna have enough to do, we were just gonna get the whole quotes, but then just do the mechanicals now, and then wait for that 2 million.
right,
To do that, now we can accept this whole bid comfortably, so it came at the perfect time.
what's that percentage, 5%?
5% now.
So what we usually get is 5, I thought it was 15.
No, we can get 15% development fee, we can work off, sometimes it's different, per grant up to 15, we work with another partner on a building. We can't get maybe we can't get what we put in back, but we can get 50% off the sale price or something, there's a way to do that, right, 15%.
Good. And that'll get us how many months?
This will get us to probably almost to 2028,
Oh, good.
because we'll have another, because with that money,
That admin.
yeah, the admin will straight into our next admin grant.
Yeah,
So it should get us through 2028, it looks like right now, because this is just gonna fill the gap. Our admin costs are going, are astronomically high compared to what they used to be, it was just me. We just got a bill in from the attorney, like $7,800 for the onboarding work he's had to do, clear up all, clear up stuff, so. I don't think it's gonna be like that every month, it'll be around, but that's a big hit, that without this money out there, like, crap, that's gonna come out, that's gonna be.
What was his fee per hour? 300?
His is like 300, but he's had to bring in some experts for the policy stuff we asked him to ask for, the chain, the tax sale prep that we're trying to do. So he brought in some experts that are at like $7.50 an hour rate and stuff like that. So that's where a lot of the chunks came from was the other consultants within the firm. So I'll calm that down for sure, but we had to, just seemed right to really push him to start. To get
Yeah, that's
him,
fine.
You know what I mean? 'Cause we spent-
That's years of back.
Yeah, years of stuff to, and
Gonna catch up.
yeah, and he's a.
It's almost as much as a pharmacist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
docking tickets?
Yeah. So that's all we got for the lending initiative, that's, and we'll know more in the coming weeks about the New York State budget. The New York State budget has, there's probably be another 80 to 160 million or something like that in the budget for land banks going forward in next year, so that would open up a new round. So, just because we got 2 million, I'm not gonna take my foot off the pedal, we're gonna keep spending that 2 million as fast as we can, 'cause it's all on projects, all for open projects we have. We can get some new stuff going on, but just stabilization and stuff like that's not a big deal, where we can, a lot of this is gonna go into 46 Main Street, the friendship projects that we already have rolling, so we're gonna spend this money pretty quickly. And compared to like what we have on Grover, where we had purposefully put that one on the back burner for a while, so. It's exciting to have a bunch of money to do work, not just have to sit on our hands trying to piece it together.
Nice job, folks.
Thanks. The cross mod move in New York, I'm gonna go meet with, Hogan this week. Yeah, I have a appointment to meet with our committees tomorrow, at least tomorrow, to go to their meeting and say, hey, how can you guys? We're housing people, we can't focus on this road, it took way too much of our time and effort to try to bring this grant to fruition, just to get to the end and find out we needed a road, something that's not even in our bag of tricks. We almost pulled it off too, but if they come up with the road, we got the grant. I mean, the grants was a lock if we just had that road, so I'm gonna have the river group use some of the advocacy for us that we just frankly don't have the time and energy to do, to keep going after the municipality and say, hey, build this road, you're gonna build this road. You'll get your tax, you're gonna get 10 new properties on your tax roll, and it's gonna pay something back. Here's the grants that you can go after. We found the grants for smoothing this. Here, these are the grants you can go after. We'll help write it and all that stuff. You just has to be their idea. It has to be a thing. So that's what I'm gonna be beating home this week, is that if they can pull this off. But then also the next round of move in New York, we have to we're thinking of a plan and maybe not do Bolton if they can't do that road. And there's another site that I don't want to talk about on the record because it's not a sure thing yet, but there's a real good property that, it would be probably 10 to 12 sites. It's right off the highway. It looks like it's already, you know the property. It's and we'd be partnering with the IDA on this instead of a municipality, which I think gets more done. So I think that we might have to either think about doing both sites and do more, or just do the one site if Fulton can't build it. So that's where we're at.
Don't forget about, mention though, they may wanna talk to the county about their road.
Yes, right, yeah, exactly. We're
Are you meet with the river group
gonna,
or?
river group, with the river group first, and then we'll let them, hopefully they want to help fill that communication gap. Yeah, but Darren brought up a good point last meeting that there's other resources that they're not using. They're relying on the land bank to build the road, but there's multiple resources out there that can help them with the road. We're housing people. All right, that's all I got for funding. We moved it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the board report. Well, that's
Are
good.
they in the same order? They are.
So they in the right order. Oh, yeah, because Gear Night, I don't need to mess it up and we hear about it. But I could put them in the back of you, seeing it, I'm just.
Board report?
I must have moved my. Must have moved back.
It's on the back of the treasurer's report, the funds dispersed by property. Jason, send that back.
Yeah, I got that, there should be 2 pages. Right.
Yeah.
I get 2 feet.
It goes to this, in the back of this, I got it now, fixed it. Alright, so 77, 76 Main Street, that's on hold, that's the new build, the new 2 million, the new 2 million grant has 200,000 for this project that we either can work for a partner or we can move it around, we think about that in months, in the next months or to become. Well, when we execute that, but that money, we did put money to help assist that building. When it was too much to build, so we want to revisit that, we'll keep it in that line for right now. But it looks like we're gonna have 200,000 wiggle room for other projects if we wanted to sit on that lot. Okay. Second Street Andover. Contractors are on site, we had to modify some drawings because the footer wasn't sufficient. So instead of redoing the footer, they drew drawings to make that new addition that they're doing for a stairwell on posts instead of foundations, so they had to wait for the drawings for that. They had those drawings for review and they should get back to work, so they missed a week to work over these drawings, but at least the building didn't fall in, so we're good. 111 Main Street, Brad has been working with Jim Ball, with the village, with the DOT. To figure out how to get a sign on that, so now once he's gonna come up with a protocol. And like an order of operations of how a sign goes there, and then we'll present that to the village saying, hey, this is how you get your sign there. Step 1 would be take the property from us. So we're almost there to where I can go to a meeting and offer that to them. We'd have to think about a sale price, a price point. If we wanted to discuss that now, we could discuss it now, and then I could get this done between meetings possibly, or we could just wait till next meeting. I can bring something to the next meeting.
Not talking about sell price for that, just that strip that they want, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, right, or if they might want the whole lot if they're gonna buy the strip, but, yeah, but that strip. I think that would have the well on it, so if they take that and strip with the well, I think that we should give it to them for $0.
Dollar, yeah.
Okay,
So
so
they want the whole lot. That's the difference.
right. Yeah, okay, so I'll kick that to them, and then I'll still bring something back for a formal vote, but at least now I know you're at, that we're all on the same page with the way we're thinking about it.
Maybe when you're talking to him, you can talk about the trees on that corner. So Brad can start getting some light, some fill put in there.
Oh, on the front corner, yeah, yeah, that's
A lot
another,
of brush and crap
Right on.
along there.
He's joining, he didn't have the link.
might be, yeah, the DOT might have something to say about this too, depending on how close they are to them. I guess if they were too close, they would have already taken them down. DOT don't waste no time on stuff like that. It's just striking view, but yeah, that's a good point. There's gonna be a lot of fill going into there. And I don't know if we can fill it all with it without burying that well. They might have put the sign on high posts, but that's very, but it is a good place for a sign. Every time I drive by, I'm like, oh, that'll look really nice here.
But it's the time of year to get filled too, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can come up,
If we can open that corner up.
I think if we pour fill on it, just the fill, it, I knock those scrubby trees down.
I looked at them on the way by today, and there's some pretty good signs,
Yeah, they're
you know.
over 6 inches, yeah. So then, yeah, so if we had to go tear those down, we go into probably the village too, go into a bunch of oversight. A bunch of, seeker and DC things, because any trees over 6 inches. They have to review and stuff, but. That's why I'll look at ways that we can.
Bulldoze in the middle of the night and ask questions later.
Don't pour enough fill on them, they might uproot, they are just scrubby trees, but that big, they might be pretty good base, so. But yeah, thanks, that is food for thought, figure it out.
All right, EC Diner.
If you said there are no updates on that, we have electric there, those. 4 to 6 Main Street, I'll just do a short one on this, that we are under contract with Westside to do the foundation and some other stabilization work, fencing it off, buttoning it up, keep the kitchens out, stuff like that. Fixing the roof leak. We can't do the foundation work, and we can't get environmental approval until we have the ground boring samples. We can't get the ground boring samples until mid-June now, they kicked that out to middle of June. So I'm gonna ask ACR if we can go in and at least do the fix the roof. Do some other things, split that as pre-development costs. Or, yeah, use it in that, and then when we get the full rehab approval. Do the stuff under rehab, so there's a little juggling there. If we need to, we could, I talked to Drew, since he, especially if he gets. He's working on other stuff in the area. He's okay, but we're not losing the contractor, but I thank him because I mean, come on, we hired him in February. For a job that we're not, now we're telling him we can't even look at it until July. That's not the way we wanna do it at all. But he's understanding,
He's got more work coming.
yeah, and we might have to, but we might have to revisit his, I don't anticipate it changing, but it would be. Nice to show him the courtesy of, hey, a lot of things happen in the economy since you quote this, are you okay with it? You know, just as a formality, because I don't want that, okay. But it kind of spitballed that with him, it's not gonna be a thing, but it should be some practice that we do when it goes that long. So if we need to move that money because we're not gonna spend it, if we need to move that money on project right now to spend it, we can, and then we have that 2 million can fill that gap when we come to the summer. Good problems to have, but
Why is it being pushed out till June?
because it's supposed to be EPA and the federal government is notoriously slow. Cause you have to do these forms, and the forms, they thought that we were just filling out the simple form. Version of the form, so it should be 2 to 3 weeks, they said, like 4 weeks ago. And then now they're saying 6 to 8 week lag time on those forms, and then they gotta schedule it when the forms are approved by the EPA.
That's no shit. Budget there, personnel.
So yes, that's it. For 8 Main Street, we have, the engineers are coming down to do some measurements and do a walkthrough. I believe next week, right? It was supposed to be this week, it got pushed to next week. Because of some personal issues with one of the contractors, wait, I'm on 8 Main Street. So they're gonna come down, and specifically, they're supposed to plan a visit, and then in April, we're getting to that we should.
You're gonna do any environmental work there?
This will be so yeah, the 8 Main Street will be, this is for the feasibility study, the environmental work is also waiting for the EPA, they're gonna pay for our asbestos test on this one. In the phase 1 on that 8 Main Street, so we're waiting for that too.
Who's gonna be?
I get it.
Oh,
They're gonna have that.
EPA.
EPA, their grant through the end.
Oh, yeah.
But we're gonna stretch 8 Main Street to that one too, so we
Got
should
it.
expand the environmentals on that one. 4 to 6 Depot is officially our building. We closed on it, which is good.
Did I sign that?
Yeah. I said it for you, but it looked just like it.
Well, I think that was the last piece I did with that really thing.
Yeah, it would be. No, so we couldn't get in there and do the boring samples because there was all the stuff on the ground. So HDR said that we are allowed to do a controlled demo as part of pre-development. Because this project isn't just discovered, we're not just trying to find out, we're not trying to just sell this lot. We told them we had a plan to put a building there. Or sell it for someone's gonna put a building there. It's not, our intention is to rebuild there. So because it's part of the early part of a bigger project, they're letting us control demo that. There's a condemnation letter on it, there's an emergency demo on that. So I didn't put it out to bid, or I went and got 3 quotes. Talk about that later. I got a lot of don't even want to touch it. People did not want to touch this building. You'll see that in the numbers when we get there. 12 Depot Street, that's on hold right now. We originally were gonna demo it with 4 to 6 Depot. We don't have approval for that, so we will probably we're gonna demo that separately. But it's fine, it's there now, has a little bit of asbestos on the outside and in the inside. So we'll make that a different time over the summer. That's an easy project, and it will eventually just be extra lot for 4 to 6. 31 Grover, we're gonna open bids for that today. Not really much to say about that. Till we get there, 63 Seneca Street, we've been working. That was gonna be a crossmod home, and since we didn't get the crossmod program. We've opened up the conversation with People Inc. about them putting a house there. The $1 million, the $2 million grant has $100,000 going to this property. We were hoping just to give it to people like, say, hey, build a house. And we just take it off our plate, you don't have to worry about it, they have a subsidy of 100,000 to do it. We'd oversee it and to make sure we protect our investment, but, it seems like the quickest, easiest way for us to build a house there, they want this good lot to build on. Decent neighborhood, and they wanna do a small ADA accessible house, 100,000, if they can get other grant funding. They could get it, I don't think the house that they build there will be worth more, be able to sell for more than like maybe 175. So they gotta find it, they can put in 175 and get it back, but they don't know where to get the rest of the money, they don't have money that goes to lose. So with our 100, that'd be 275, that's still not close to enough to build anything anymore. So they're trying to get another grant, so hopefully, but we do have 100,000 in the new grant for that site. 172, 178 East State, I have not heard back from the municipality, I've reached out to them for multiple times, for multiple years. They don't seem to want it, the neighbor who had been wanting it for years, who, when we were gonna try to build or do something there, we told him, sorry, it's not for sale anymore. He's reached out and said, I really want that property, I talked to the village, because I told him that the village wanted it. He said, talk to the village, they said they're not gonna make an offer, so I need to hear that from them, obviously. And he said, well, all right, well, I'll talk to him again and tell him that they tell you they don't want it. But he wants to double his offer, his original offer, and give us 2,000 per acre. For those properties,
Back on the tax rolls.
get back on the tax rolls and we could sell it with the caveat that. He puts that, there's a reason we're protecting it was because of that sewer easement that runs through it. It's just, it was seen valuable to the municipality to be able to access their manholes without having to have to go through an easement. More research found out that it doesn't matter, there's an easement between the property next to it anyway, so they're not getting a free access anyway. So we could do something where if we sold it to that guy, we could still put language in there that he had to acknowledge to protect or do something with that easement to make sure we're not screwing the municipality over by selling it. But it'd be nice to get
Have you
on.
talked to the village since they got a new mayor?
Yeah, he said, oh, it sounds like a good idea, we'd like one more parks, I can talk to some people.
And how long since you spoke with him?
A couple months,
So if they,
How many acres is there?
under 2, but over 1. It's like 1.6 or 1.5.
We're talking $3,000.
Yeah, he offers us 2 for each, so it'd be $4,000.
Get rid of it.
I see, I think so, geez, we've sat on it long enough.
Well,
Yeah, we did, but it's not like we didn't try, we tried to say, we did every exhaustive thing, minus build where we put it, where we took that stupid house, there was no way Kier still wants to build on that wall, you know. I just don't think that's, we could, but we could build somewhere else too.
So, see, reach out, or do we create a purchase agreement?
I'm just telling him to, I told him to have an offer for me to bring it back and get it from him. I can just, we can just do it next month, I can have a formal offer here next month. And, through his attorney and everything, so it's like
Yeah,
expedited.
will he take care of the closing costs and all that, or is that ours?
Well, there's costs on each side, we'd have to do our, we'd have to pay like whatever the normal seller things up would be, recording fees, we'd have to pay that, our legal fees. So we probably have another, we already had it surveyed
I was
recently,
gonna say, wasn't it, sir?
but we don't have a title search, so we're probably looking. At another 15 to 2,000.
So we're not making it out.
no, but it'll be off the list. That'll,
And
back on the tax
oh,
It's not costing, it's set there.
But I will.
The list only grows.
What's that?
The list only grows.
But, yeah, so I'll bring that up and say we'd be willing to, I'll tell them, hey, if we
Put the cost, our closing costs and.
yeah, we're gonna end up breaking even because of the cost of title search and.
Try to see if you'll do 4 plus all the closing costs.
Yeah, alright, I'll talk to them, and then, again, I'm gonna bring a formal offer next month anyway, so I'll just try to.
Alright. Waitsville,
So these houses were supposed to be across my, I talked to the neighbor's son just built a house somewhere else in the village, outside of the village. And they wanna buy the 2 lots and build 2 more family homes to keep 3 family homes all together. I said that we'd entertain that option, and we could even give them some financial assistance to do that. So, I'm gonna probably explore that more and see if they can come up with the money. If they can come up with the money and they put the sweat equity in, and maybe we get we give them 100 per house, that's good for drawings, inspections, some materials, so it's a pretty good chunk. If they put in sweat equity, that saves them another bunch, and then they just gotta do construction loan. So he said he's gonna look into seeing what it would take for them to get a construction loan, and I said I would just start our process here to see if we can. That'd be ideal, if we could pass that off to them.
So if it went that way, that would still mean that we would have to monitor it for multiple number of years.
Just through construction, and then the deed covenant will hold on to it for that, and anytime it transfers to where it could be okay. We would just monitor it through construction until after.
Yeah, but we don't know what is construction. For 2 houses, we're talking 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, you're right.
Potential.
Yeah, that would be way longer. We could do one at a time, just make sure it works or something too. And the contracts, if the lawyers do contracts, there's reverter clauses in there anyway, where if they start goofing off, they're not doing it, but we just get the property back with its improvements. But again, that's more. I'll bring more.
Who is it? What's the name of the people?
Yeah.
That's all right.
I know, as soon as you ask me, when it's like, but. 5 Water Street, once we close on that. We will begin to stay button it up, changing the locks. We're getting, hopefully getting a $2,500 grant from the area foundation.
And the Alfred State.
Oh, yeah, did we end up? I forgot about that, thanks. What happened with that? So we asked Alfred State, you know how before they gave us a crew of like, students to help clean up, where we asked for this, for the antique barn, to have them move stuff around, get a dumpster there, throw a bunch of the crap off that's in there, sweep it out, but, just make it nicer and help us do this work. Free labor and they said when? They asked us a date, they replied to the date.
The wrestling team wants to help and we just need to coordinate with the coach.
Nice.
Sweet.
Does that have any structural issues?
No, it looks pretty good. There's some roof leaks is all. Where some ice damming happened under the steel roof. But it's built like a fortress, and beams like this go straight through the pitch. It's pretty stout.
And we'll use that, let West Side
Yeah.
use that for storage through the process.
Mhm.
And we have a whole building someplace else that we're storing stuff in.
Well, we have a shed.
Shed.
Yeah, we have that little shed, and then, so when we sell Grover Street, that shed's gonna be Grover Street, so it'd be nice to know that. We'll get a shed. Alright, Thayer Street, I have nothing for Thayer Street or the bank. Properties of interest at the bottom of the page, 10 West Main Street. Hardware, I have, our attorney is gonna be looking into ways that we can get that through the tax sale, if it comes up on a tax sale. The tax sale list won't be out until mid-May, or May 18th or 19th. So until that comes out, we don't know if it's on there, they could redeem. We have to start thinking about the surplus of the building, because if we have to pay for it, if we take it off the tax rolls, we have to put the value of this building minus what they owe in taxes, so say they owe 20,000 in taxes, the building's worth 100,000. And we buy it from the county for 50, well then that's 30 over what they owe in taxes, we'd have to put that 30 in escrow in case they ever came after it.
Because done the county do that part of it.
We don't have an agreement with them yet, we'll get it later on, there's an agreement that in the proposal is to see who does what, they don't have a protocol set up, who does
The
what.
county doesn't have
Yeah,
it.
they don't have it yet, so they need to, that's part of that proposal that we're talking about
I
later.
thought I read it in someplace if they were. But maybe.
But so that it'll go off at appraised value. So just because we buy it for under value, doesn't mean that's the value of it, unless it goes to auction, it goes through the auction, whatever it sells at can be considered its value. But we would have to get an appraisal, so we get an appraisal and we put out the difference between what we paid for it minus what they owed and the appraisal value to show any surplus, and then that surplus would have to be held for 3 years. Now, if it's a commercial property like this, or if it's owned by a bank, it's not the right, so this one won't have a 3-year covenant to it because it's not their main residence, it's not their home. Because it's not their home, it's 6 months. So after 6 months, that money's not available to anyone, and so it's just a holding thing to see.
It's okay.
No.
So are we gonna be landlords with that building?
No, I think
It's
the
kind of, the restaurant,
restaurant tenant, it's not
there's
ideal.
about 300 years of antique junk in there.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what we would do. You would, ideally, just keep paying rent, but also. There's other options. I mean, but if we
I
had,
think it's a co-op, the
we got it.
stuff that's in there.
Yeah, it is. But it's like a sign, or not sign, but it's supposed to be like a.
Is it possible that we should just basically go in and clean it up, dress it up? And
Base,
for somebody to
yeah,
rent?
because of the structural issues, that's the problem, but we can work around that, he's not open. So I think we could work around that, we could move him down to TC's Diner, but have a full kitchen while we did that building, if he's willing. He might leave, who
I'll
knows?
just put in new heating system,
Oh, yeah,
one of those dropped in the ceiling. I was in there in December and he had the stove going with the door open
yeah,
and the
same.
space heaters at our table.
Cool.
And then I was in there maybe 6 weeks ago, he had a brand new drop furnace in the ceiling.
So who owns the building?
A couple out of Buffalo. That doesn't live here,
And they rent to.
they rent to the restaurant, yeah.
I don't know who runs the co-op.
This end here,
He does.
yeah. There's him and his daughter, the building is owned by a couple of the, out of Buffalo,
It's his girlfriend and stuff.
who is daughter too.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. She's young.
Oh.
But yeah, so I think there's 2 pathways to go with this because we don't know what's even going on taxes. They could redeem it at the last second. I was thinking about contacting them and saying, first finding out what exactly they owe in taxes, which is vague on the website. I reached out to Jenna, haven't heard back yet. Then we find out that if it is going to the tax sale and if how much it is, say they owe. I don't know, we just offer them and not, then, because if we buy from them, it doesn't go to tax sale, then we're.
Right, that's what I was thinking. We could,
But it is only a 6 month pool.
we have had conversations in the past about purchasing and they wanted like 50 grand, right?
That's what she like, I wouldn't take less than 50, I got 70 into it or something like that, yeah, that's just her passing conversation when I first talked to her. But that was, of course, she's facing foreclosure, so.
Well, going up for tax sale, that's foreclosure.
But there's gonna have to be an appraisal on it. So, sooner the better on the appraisal,
Well, wouldn't have to if we bought it from
a
them.
little bit back from that, wouldn't have to exactly. So I can offer her, but I think they're
Taxes plus 10 grand or something.
trying to look tax jar first to be obviously the
Yeah.
first way to go, because she owes 60,000 tax.
Wow.
Why do you say it's vague on the website?
It does. Oh,
Have numbers on
because because in the past, we've looked at the numbers and then we asked the county treasurer, they're off. We give you up $1,000 off, maybe it's not how they calculate it on payments and stuff, it would be close, but it's a close. We're getting right now about 16,000, it looks like, could be 20, could be 10. So I gotta figure that out, but it's somewhere in that range. When I know it exactly, I can call it off, hey, you're gonna lose this over $20,000, we'll give you $30,000 to. Right now, so then,
And you gotta pay the taxes.
and.
With it, she has to pay the tax,
She got paid back.
or we pay the tax, be better, if we pay the tax, I would give her 10 grand.
Yeah,
I mean, we'd own that whole side of the street.
yeah, pretty
Except
much.
for
The
the,
Holly Farm, we go 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, we go.
Then within our zone too.
yeah, that is part of the, historic district.
Oh,
It
yeah,
actually goes all the way to the school,
yeah,
Oh, okay.
but they're just, they excluded. Obviously, the Family Dollar and the old theater, next to the very end one.
The church on the end, or what it used to be a church.
Oh, I thought it was a theater.
Well, that was a theater before it was a church.
Well,
Yeah, but I can, so the day that the last day to redeem is the 18th of May, which is also our board meeting here. So we could possibly make sure if we don't have to go to auction, if we don't want to go to auction, or we want to get ahead of it or whatever, at least we should know that day. So then right after this board meeting, we can deal with it if we have to, go right downtown and say, hey, take it off extra, here's the taxes. So I'll try to get that all pretty
Well-
well.
will we be able to do that? We don't have a check.
That's what I'm saying, I don't know, we'd have to figure it out between now and then, yeah, that'd be the goal, would be to make sure everything doesn't go to the auction.
Could we,
But we might not even have to, first of all, also checking different pathways too. You know, we multiple options here of how to get to the property, but everyone knows, well, actually, not everyone, but I told our attorney and I told. The treasurer's office, that we're strategically. After this house, and I mean, the rest of the tax, so it's a tax sale, we'll see what we can get, if we, line, this house, this property, we're strategically targeting it, it should not go to the auction, even if you just take it off don't put it in the auction, you don't sell it to us either, don't send it to the auction, even if we don't get it. Let us get our ducks in a row, and let's get it on an agreement, so I'm tired of beating this one.
well, no, I'm not done with it.
Okay, this, it's good, it's on the agenda later.
Well, we're going to take it off the agenda later, or we already voted on the agenda, but, so really, there's no way for us to go down. And just pay the taxes if we don't have a purchase offer that's been gone through attorneys. I mean, we're putting our money on something that might never happen, so.
Right, we'd have to really push that.
Don't houses get taken off at, like, during the auction too, though, if somebody can go, can't they?
They're not
technically-
supposed, they're not technically supposed to be, but I've seen.
They do it all the
I've
time,
seen
they do it
that
the day of before the auction.
I've
They did
seen-
last
I've
year.
seen that happen.
Just
But those, yeah, but those are, if it's your house, they give you different rights if you're living there compared to the rest of the property.
Okay,
Sounds like one of the things that's going to auction there.
Here's my only comment, is we're putting an awful lot of money into that section of Main Street on prospect that it develops later on.
Yeah, a lot, I mean, that's a lot of buildings, a lot of units,
But what a win it'll be if we save Main Street and Friendship.
Well, inside of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you work on the other side.
And I gotta look at it.
Well, I mean, IDA's talking about building, what, 60 unit complex out on County Route 20?
Yeah, well, I think it was closer to 200.
Oh, was it that?
Yeah,
big? Oh.
yeah.
You know, so they gotta have a place to spend their money. So if everything works, it's great. I mean, it'll be a good big win, but. All right, sorry, I'll let you go and move on.
Alright, 10 West Main Street, Cuba, John did a walkthrough and, talked to the owners there, they put us, an offer, or, a proposal to sell it to us for $1, it's later in the agenda, we can talk about that then. 7910 West Main Street.
do you want him to share anything? He was.
When we get there, yeah,
Oh,
he's
okay.
gonna share a screen when we get there. I'm sure
Yeah,
you guys-
great. I want to see.
7910 West Main Street, Oliver, this was a last tax auction sale. A gentleman bought it from the tax sale, realized, went through some personal things where now he was bought it for a rental property. Now he has to live there by himself and he's got to put more money into it.
Is this the brick house
No,
that we were looking at?
no,
Oh.
this is, down towards the golf course.
Oh, okay.
And for horse run, but then, but so this guy, he doesn't have enough money, he wants to. He's getting some buyer's remorse from the tax sale. We have, out of the 2 million, we do have the property service assistance grant, which we were gonna put towards. That whole big building, the big disco bar in the bank. Well, the disco bar is not progressing the way that it should be. I told him you need to do that LLC, you need to do X, Y, and Z to be able to get this money, it can't just be the first money, it has to be towards the end money, or all of it. It has to come, something has to come. We don't wanna spend this money on this where it just sits for another 10 years with that money invested into it, it makes us look bad. This guy needs help, not a bad house, I mean, it's just like anything else, just needs so many things that it's not viable, so if we could. we're gonna make an administrative program with HCR, they wanna meet with us about that grant money we got to make sure that we have a program and application process for getting that money that we have, so it'll be a formal application process. And I think that we should open it up for, it should be targeted for past tax sale houses that they got bumped ahead by remorse. Historical properties, because we would like to say we're historical places, and I don't remember, but three targeted areas that if you have a house and you want property assistance services, you have to sell vacant, has to be vacant. Has to be your either vacant or tax sale house that you're trying to live in, or has some historical components that need our assistance. And then it's targeted, there's a formal application, and then we bring those applications to this board and say, okay, we're gonna give. This guy needs $100,000, well, so does this guy, we'll give 100,000, give him each 50, so 25. But then we could pick the projects we want out of those applications, and then we'll build up a waiting list, and then the next grant we go for more, and just start helping out people that way.
So we have 100 in this grant, towards this 200,000.
And plus another 200,000 from the Main Street white, element that we're not gonna use for that building, we could move that into something like this too, it's working.
No, just,
Yeah,
sorry,
done.
Accord has something, but that's for rental properties only.
That's rental properties only, and it's more highly regulated than this.
Okay.
And they're
Just to
struggling,
make sure we were.
they're struggling to have big impacts, because they're getting the applicants need. So they got 150,000, now 4 of them need $50,000 roofs, they don't have enough. And they don't have, like, we can be like, well, all right, we'll just take money from here and put it in there, they're not gonna do that, it's just, we're not set up for that. We tried, giving 100,000 to that program to help them bolster that program, they said, no, we can't without adding money, so they have some stuff going on that we don't even see.
You talking about the formal application project, the
Yeah.
process, and it's like, are the individuals going to supply, their financials?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, or some kind of earnest money, you know, an escrow account, whether they're into it, so they can put it.
Well, I guess, I thought it, someone can't afford to fix it. Get it, continue to do it.
Yeah.
But, and you have 250,000.
Yeah, exactly.
In the
Right.
bank somewhere.
Yeah, no, it'll be part of the review.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all
And that's why that's why I don't think we should open it up to just any property services, should be specifically a vacant rental or a vacant home that you don't bring online. Tax sale property, historical, then we don't have everybody in their mom saying, what is my house? You know, what to?
All right, one last.
4776 West Main Street in Whitesville. This guy got a call the other day at the historic preservation, or when I was at the historic preservation conference, saying they want to give us this property. It's been in their family for years. They don't use it. They saw the good work we're doing in Whitesville. They want to help Whitesville out by giving it up. Someone can do something with it. Namely us. 4,600 square foot buildings. They said it used to be an opera house. Literally a house for opera, it's a house. But it's a big old building that would be a nice multi-unit apartment or something like that. It's in it, so we can talk about it. I just wanted to bring it to attention now. And then we'll see it in the agenda later.
All right, housing study.
I don't have any updates. There's one here to help me out with my memory, but there's some surveys going around trying to get more information. They're just data gathering. They had the public meetings between last meeting and last board meeting.
Stakeholder meetings.
Stakeholder meetings, they went pretty well.
And then he sent it out for more inquiries after that public hearing.
Yeah, because there's a lot of people that didn't show up. They want to give everyone. There was a low showing by employers was the biggest thing. There was a real low showing by employers, but there were some demographics that were highly active. There were a couple days, like 4 sessions, 2 of them were more people than they thought, 2 were less people than they thought. So they're doing those surveys, but it's coming along well. I like it a lot. I think we're doing a great job.
Phase 2, brownfields.
I kind of already talked about those. They're delayed till mid-June. Same with the phase 1. They're gonna be doing a phase 1 on 8 Main Street and the asbestos testing, but that's all delayed. We'll move past that. Let me go to my executive part.
Where's that? Is there a sheet for that?
3? No, just be better.
Okay, go ahead, yeah, major achievements.
Okay, we did all the property updates, Change order for 6/15 was executed and they can start work this week. We have bids that we'll get to here in a little bit. The demo is complete at Second Street, Second Street. Some good feedback from those articles that were about that in the papers. Preservation, Kate and I presented at the preservation conference in Cooperstown. That was a really unique conference. Those people are passionate about there. They're not just there for credits. They really like historical preservation. They were just a great group of people. We got to meet a lot of architects, a lot of the municipal leaders. The mayor of Cooperstown came up to us afterwards and just said they really liked our presentation and like the work that land bank's been doing. We got asked to go give the same presentation out in Long Island. We're not going to do. It was informative. Rubbing elbows with those pros is always helpful for me to be able to just hear the jargon and be like, oh, this is what you guys talk about when you're with each other. Because architects have different type of phrase.
So what was your presentation on?
On our projects at 31 Grover and 4 to 6 Main Street and how they're different, how one is in a district, how the one we're creating a district. And hopefully how that's gonna raise the value not only of property, but also of how people feel about their community and friendship and stuff like that. And we we're on the panel with Crystal Loeffler from HCR, who runs our grants. So you know, I can pick her brain. We gotta talk about this another time.
You were talking?
She's like opposite me. She's calculated and everything she says. I gotta just go for volume. She's very calculated.
Volume and two.
Well, hey,
Volume and
take your test. I talk slowly and I didn't go over my time. But and then there was another land bank from Essex County, who she runs a couple counties, and they did a presentation on the work that they're doing out there. It was pretty well received. It was,
Yeah, after questions ended, because we ran out of time, people still came up to talk to us in person, which is when you know it's a good presentation. We want to keep talking to you.
yeah, contractors coming up giving us encouragement. We do historical preservation.
Yeah, there's a masonry specialist or something.
Yeah, so.
We need that.
We got awarded the $2 million grant. That is a whole new grant, an extension of LBI. Goals for next month is to get that controlled demo underway. Get a contract, and a schedule planned out for doing the Grover work. We need to execute that new grant. We have 15 days from the award, so you'll be seeing, me and you are gonna have to get together sometime, later this week. I'll just either send stuff to you or just give you a pack of show. You go with a pack of stuff, depending on how their paperwork looks and goes. And then the friendship properties, they're not closed yet, but they're right there. I thought for sure they were gonna be closed by the time we got this meeting, but between, I guess between Passover and Easter and then, and some things that are going on with the attorney's office, they couldn't go on. So they're right there. So you'll be probably having to go in the next couple of weeks, Brian, and sign those next week or two. I'll find out more after. Unless Matt is on call, he wants to speak out about open keys. Barriers to meeting our goal is approvals from HCR. We got the whole environmental checklist with the phase 2 environmentals. That's kind of holding us up. And the new DEC wetlands regulations, I'm gonna do a real quick brief, what happened there. So back in 2022, they made it a law that they changed the law saying that you don't, that if you're gonna do a project, you used to have to just look through the wetlands and maps. And if your property is adjacent and touching or in a wetlands, then you had to, that was the wetlands. And now they're saying that map isn't the only, then after 2022, they said, well, the map's not the only thing to say, it has to be designated by a professional. So now when you look at the map, you get a hold of the DEC, and the DEC will tell you if it's a wetland. And they started it bottlenecked the seeker process for municipalities. It screwed over a bunch of big corporations, and they sued and they won. So now they threw away those provisions where you still have to treat it like a map, but it's still by definition doesn't have to be defined by the map. But the protocol that they used to do to approve the wetlands or to delineate the wetlands is now illegal. So that's in a flux, it's in a no zone where they can't. You can't break the law and they can't get you in trouble for breaking the law because there's no procedure. So everything is just stalled out with the DEC wetland zone. We'll see how that works for us. But luckily, I just, not because I saw this coming, but because it's such a hassle to do these anyways. How long it takes, I just started doing them blanketly. I don't know if we're gonna need to do it anyways, requesting it. So we have a bunch of requests out there that may or may not get answered, and if they do, then we're ahead. We'll see. But that just happened last week, so I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but just another red tape for
And they were,
New York State bogus, who built it, or what was it?
Yeah,
yeah,
New York
right.
built-
That's what they roll.
they're supposed to make it easier to build houses in New York State.
And so that's what this is my theory, that they did this. They did that program, right, knowing that this was about to fail, and so now they can say, oh, we're changing secret because we're trying to make it easier for you, instead of we're changing secret because we were running an illegal law for 5 years. So I think that's a lot of why they're doing that, but that's just for.
All right, old business.
Old business, like I said, the tax sale is 7th to the 21st. The last day to redeem is May 8th, May 18th. The treasurer's office says they won't even have a list out till mid-June. So we're gonna have less than a month to review properties. I used to have an immense amount of time where I could really dive into these things. But back then, we needed a lot of them. Now we have a bunch of projects, we really don't need any off the tax.
You know what's gonna happen is it's gonna come out that Monday of our June meeting, and then the tax sales during our July meeting.
Yeah. Exactly what happened last year. But we don't need properties now, like in past year where we needed to sit on some properties to get grants. We got enough properties to sit on. But we should scour, like there's 10 Main Street is strategic, it's our strategic person. If we have other ones that are adjacent to properties we have, we should probably go after them strategically. But it's not, previous years it's been like, give us whatever you got. We don't have that problem this
Well,
year.
hopefully we have a little bit better relationship with the treasurer's office now, and maybe if it is that case that it's gonna fall, that we could get that like a week before our June meeting, if it's gonna, you know. We haven't seen it by the 10th of June, say, hey, you have the list, you know they have.
Yeah, even if some people redeem, I'll deal with that. I've always had.
Yeah, we just wanna see it, so that we can take it to our board meeting, because there's no,
And then my first thing I do when I get these things is I look at the owner of record, and if they're a trust or an estate, boom, they're on our list. Because it's
Yeah.
probably something going on with it, and then I look at and then I'll just go through and look at the pictures, and I think, oh, that one, you can pick, I'm never looking at ones like, this might have value. Rare, the one I'm looking at are the worst of the worst. And then the ones that are kind of the next ones up, then I'll go visit them and say, okay, there's cars in the driveway, we're not going after it. There's so many things that I can do to just alleviate them like this. But the treasurer's office thinks that I'm spending all this time researching these things and then they're going off text. It's not true. I can look at your list and I can tell you which ones are very come. I'm gonna give a pretty good guess of ones that have a good value. They owe 6,000 in taxes and it's $150,000 house. They're probably gonna come up with the money. Whereas the one that's falling in and they own 15,000 is probably not gonna get redeemed. So it's pretty easy for me to pick them out. I'm wrong. I mean, obviously there's some that were occupied that didn't work and I thought they were, and stuff like that. I'm not 100%, but we should have that list by time. We're gonna do not to have it. The 10 Main Street offer, this friendship. So I put this on here, we don't have to make it, a motion, because we talked about it. I was thinking we might want to make an offer to her for the taxes, but I don't think we have to do that. I don't know if we,
let's find out what they are.
yeah. And then, so say they're 20. The building's listed for full market value at like 87 or something right now. So that would make the value of the building 87. But if we bought it from her, then now the value is not 87, when it goes to auction, it's 87, it's just a messed up system.
The only way I see this not going to the tax sale. And for us to get it is, we come up with a verbal agreement. To buy it for X, she goes and pays the taxes knowing she's gonna get that money, because the timing's just not gonna work.
Right.
There's no way by May 18th, we're gonna have formal proposals through 2 attorneys. We're not gonna put the money out there without formal approval, so. If you can talk to her, say, hey, we want it, well, we're willing to pay X.
Yeah.
The X dollars, so timing wise, if you pay the taxes off, we'll buy the building.
Yeah,
But I just don't see that's the only way we're gonna.
not with the timing that they've given us, but I put in the proposal that we're gonna read here in a minute, that we're gonna ask the county for a tax sale MOU, just so we can figure this out. In there is that if there's projects that we want during this year, just in case it takes us too long to get an agreement, that you will pull properties out, and if we don't get them, then you can sell them next year's tax sale. They do that all the time, so hopefully it'll do it for us. Because then it would buy us months, and if we can't pull it off and say, land bank goes belly up, then they would still just put it on auctions auction. They have that option and that right to do that. They pull stuff off auction all the time, so hopefully that's just another path that we could go. If they say she wants to sell, but like you said, the timeline doesn't work. Well, maybe you don't send it, they don't send it to auction and they just hold it for us until we figure it out or something. But I'm gonna explore our options,
Okay.
land at length and see what we can fit. And I had no updates on the land network learning exchange. I applied for that opportunity for July, so we should probably be hearing soon. All right, this one's gonna need some motion. 10 West Main Street in Cuba. John, do you wanna share your screen now?
John, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, I'm talking and it's not active. Yes, I can do that. Let me know when you see it.
Okay, now we do.
Okay, so this building is I think it's technically 8 Main Street, if I'm not mistaken. Might even be 10 Main Street, yep. So this building here is owned by John and another gentleman from IT company. They purchased the building. And if none of you are familiar with it, it's right next to I think it's the Palmer House. Is that correct, Jason?
Correct.
Yeah, next to Palmer House. So we're looking, say again?
Used to be a pharmacy, last was Rite Aid, I think, or Walgreens.
Wasn't it an antique store?
No, it was Walgreens was the last business that was in there, and they actually did some renovation recently
Yes, I know.
before they closed.
Yeah, you'll see it.
Used to be Mignano's Pharmacy, then it was
Right.
Rite Aid.
It's been a pharmacy.
So the
since
new, go ahead.
60s, I think.
Yes, I can visualize it.
Yo, keep those Memphis city tomorrow. Go ahead, Jeff.
So what we'd like to do is take over this building and do just this part of the building, not all the way to the corner. So we want to do structural stabilization and residential redevelopment on the upper floor. The lower floor is more commercial. I suppose it could be residential, but it wouldn't be quite as easy to make that residential. And leaving the commercial ground floor makes it more open for developers. We're going to walk through this building. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. There's still fairly open-ended stuff here, but we'll go through this. Is the front of the building. And let me make sure you guys are getting it without choppiness. Let me know if it's not coming through smooth.
So not that building, it's this one.
Yeah, so this entrance right here, that would be the entrance that we're looking at to go upstairs. Ideally, you'll see in the coming up, ideally to get to the upstairs for the second floor story, because as of right now, the only entrance is in the back way if we don't get access to this. Now, the owner stated he's willing to, if it's going to be required for the development of this property, to take it off as his hands, then he would be willing to open that up for that. So we've got big, tall windows. They put new siding on it. And under the siding is the brick that matches this as well. So you will also see that if we go into the historical aspect of this building, I believe this is in the historical district. The brick facade would probably be brought back. So with that one done, walk into this one. This is the drone footage of the roof itself. So you'll see the windows have been replaced, the siding up there, but this roof back here has been a major issue. It's the biggest problem in this whole building outside of it's the cause of most of the problems in this building. So you'll see the roof back there that's been redone. That used to be a third story that ran up across here, similar to this roof. And that roof there has been taken down because of the damage that's been done to it. So it's no longer a third story, it's more like a small partition up above the second floor. This all needs to be replaced back here. Ideally, what we're looking at is probably a whole new roof. The wind and rain has been penetrating this for, I don't know how long, but it's been a while.
Are you talking probably a metal roof over the top of it? Is that what you're thinking?
Probably have to replace with. Did you do metal on there, John? I don't know, there's no slope, it kind of needs there.
You could build it.
So you'll see in parts of this that the roof itself, because of the way it was redone when they demolished that third floor, the roof itself goes from a good slope from the front to the back, but the back, very back end, we were just looking there. It has a dip to it, so water does sit there, so that will need to be addressed, which isn't terrible. It's just some furring strips cut to match the slope to make it actually shed off of the roof. Right now it pulls up at the bottom, but you can see all the tar and the rolled roofing that was put on there needs to be retarred, redone. It's not uncommon, but it's old. The center of the structure here looks fairly good. One of the issues I see walking or droning around this and getting up on the roof, and thank goodness we did this because we wouldn't be able to notice something like this. But this particular spot right here, this is the building next to it from the corner, and this is the drainage that comes off of that building directly onto the roof of this building, which is not proper. It needs to be redone, readdressed. And that's something we'll have to discuss with the John, the owner of this building as well. So that will either actually probably be tied in to run down the side of the building where the actual gutter was supposed to be. So that'll have to be redone. This is all the other building. We don't need this one in here. This one. Move 152, 414.
We're not looking at the building.
No, that is the corner.
That was the corner, correct. This is ours still. So this is the over the center of the structure, and this particular spot up here is the only access to the roof. That's the only access to the roof. As of now.
Yeah, Jason, touching on. But
At one point, that was all one building. There's entryways between the three.
yes.
We'll get to that as well.
Right through the opera house.
See, this is the piece.
Pause a second, John, pause a second. So you
Yeah.
see how bad that parking lot right there?
See how
So
bad
that-
this dip is? This is what would have to be furred out. Potentially from at least 15, 16 feet out and run new pieces here that are actually matching to the top of this grade here. So that is the major issue, and it's on both sides of the structure over here as well. That is the major issue as far as the roof drainage and the roof covering. One of the reasons the roof is deteriorating and not staying down is because of the water that is not being shed from it sitting there. So that is a major problem. But most of the problem seems to be addressed on the left-hand side of the building.
Can you pause real quick right there, showing that gas station?
Say again?
Can you pause right there?
Pause it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just laggy on our side.
Right there. So that parking, someone reached out to me, wondering if we would be interested in that for the parking for the building. I don't know if the gas station's say for sale, being seized or for taxes.
It was purchased by some Indians and they changed hands once to other Indians.
Yeah, but I think,
And, then they just closed, so I don't
oh,
know.
are they closed? Okay, so it's up for sale somehow, it could be available, that mean that
I
might
don't
be.
see a real estate sign on it, do you?
No, it's not been, there's nothing been. Out there.
But
No
you're
sign.
dealing with.
Right, well, the. Someone had reached out to me asking if we would, if they acquired it, would we be interested in taking a portion of it? Helping out with the clearing of the lot in exchange for.
It'd be great for the community, cause the Palmer has huge events and
Never part.
there's not enough park.
Yeah, so there's that too, I just wanted to show there is options, any parking.
Gas station will go to tax auction, Ashley's saying.
Okay. So that's another strategic, something else strategic that we could get off the
Yeah.
net, so. And use EPA money to help, or whatever, you just stack grants outside of LBI, we'll have that to get it for.
It's gotta be underground tank there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it was an active gas station just till
But
6 months ago, maybe.
Yeah,
Unimark built it, didn't it?
It was a unit, yeah.
and they sold an option when Universal sold all their stuff an option. And you.
no, it sold, John Freeman across the street purchased it.
As a Unimark?
No,
Unimark.
as a unit.
And Unimark not a business, so that's how they got rid of it.
We got the gas station back up and running again and to make it look, you know, functional, so.
He was open.
Sell it.
He was open 24 hours, thinking he's gonna get like cheese plant employees, second shift, then nobody would come there. It's just, there's 2 gas stations off the expressway before you get to it, so.
Yeah.
And no, you know, you're not getting any traffic.
All right, what you got now, John? We're ready to get back to it.
So this is the exterior of the building on the outside. They did have vines running all over the place, but they did get those off. You can see a little bit of them still on there, right there by the wiring. I imagine they couldn't get that close to the wiring because it was tied in there. This is the outside corner of the structure that does have a little bit of damage. It's not terrible. It's just some tuck joining, but again, it's still there. And we'll see that in a couple of the other videos, pictures as well. The exterior here. Yep, just another fat. So you can see some of the discoloration is from that. The actual vines actually protected a lot of it, but the water running down this area. This structure over on where you see the windows is not part of it. But this partition is. This is the window that is on the back side. Most of the windows were replaced. This is where you're going to see the most damage on the inside when we get there. It's in this second floor and first floor, this whole section here. So don't be surprised when you get down there to see that there's that much damage, because it will be interesting. Not as bad as Friendship, but we are in much better shape than Friendship. So these guys were actually in the midst of repairing and doing most of this work, and had this water issue come about, and it became worse and worse, and they were unable to, they did put the new roof on, but they were unable to actually stop the water from leaking. It just continued to get worse. I believe that's it from this one. Yes. Yeah. So we're done with that one. So now we'll move to the inside of the structure, the basement. So here's the basement, and this is, we're going to work from the basement to the first floor to the second floor of this basement. They've done a lot of work in here as far as structure wise, and putting new beams, LVLs, and these posts in. Not that they don't need some work maybe to be restructured to pass final code, but first stabilization, they did a pretty darn good job as far as that goes. A lot of the original actual 2x rough cuts are all there. They did a lot of work in here, a lot of lumber in there. This is the main structure that's going to be an issue. This is the entryway to would be the east side of the building. We're in the west on the basement, but moving to the east side of the building, this is where we're going to see the major damage that has come about from the roof leak starting at the bottom. Most of the walls are in great shape, but this here, what you're going to see is mold. That is not spray foam. And that what you're seeing in front of you there as well, this piece particularly is new. I say new. You still with me? I appear to be frozen. Okay. This piece right here, what you're seeing in front of you, is the elevator that has recently, when I went there the first time, this was not down here. So this is fresh down here. I am frozen at the moment.
We can still hear you, John.
So what you see above you is the mold. I don't know what's going on. My computer's freezing. I got too many tabs open for videos.
How did the integrity of those moldy beams seem? Are they all dry rotted? Is that all gonna need to be ripped out and rejoiced?
So if you look on the right, I don't know what you guys are seeing right now, if it's not playing through, but on the right side, you can see the LVL beam that is placed onto the post over there.
Yeah.
Okay, that is no longer on the post because it is rotted through. And nonetheless, you're not going to be able to clean these and get anything out of it. Once you get mold into wood like that, unless you catch it early, you're not going to be able to remediate it. Most of this is going to be right through all the wood, and it'll just keep growing if there's any type of humidity within it. So all of these will have to be replaced. Anything with the mold, unless it's a post, maybe a post to save, but it's really only in this, I would call it maybe 20-foot section off the back wall over there into this one. So it's really not as terrible as it seems. considering, Friendship Main Street one, we're doing the whole back end of the whole story. It would be this one and the floor above it in the general same area, straight up to the roof would have to be readdressed. You're gonna have to give me a second because my stuff's going wonky here. It's gonna close me out. I'm gonna close out and come back in, okay? Give me a second.
Yeah.
You think the code guy want to get in there, they've had a collapse like that in the last 2 months. That thing could come down all the way to the back corner.
I fall into the insurance thing too, that back corner falls onto that pizzeria, which butts up back that yellow building.
I go over there a lot.
Maybe
Last
not.
day, he's got gyros, so.
He does the.
I saw that.
Yeah, he does it like once every 2 or 3 months, gyros and stuff, Czechoslovakia wraps. They're good.
Yeah,
Mondays,
that's
all the
awesome.
stuff's good.
Yeah, I saw you posted online that he was. Well,
You just gotta,
people being,
was he involved with where was he, with he got a mobile wood fired pizza oven, he was in Weston Mills last weekend, and he was somewhere.
He's like,
in
I
Any beverage.
Oh, he, but, yeah. And he bought a big smoker, and big chickens and,
He needs a bigger place.
yeah.
Try this again.
walk out and get your pizza and then walk.
Maybe he ought to buy a Unimart.
Yeah.
Share screen.
He actually has a walk-in freezer in that big corner building, of Main Street. There's a kitchen in the back that used to be a restaurant. I don't know if he leases that or whatever. So that's where he stores all his, he said he did. Chicken wings last week, something like 400 pounds or something crazy.
All right, are we ready? We back?
Yeah.
We see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the mold that is densely populated on this.
Doesn't look like spray foam, doesn't it?
It does. I was like, oh, you guys started insulating it. They're like, about 3 seconds into that statement, I was like, wait a minute. That's not spray foam. So the walls were in good condition. They're gonna need a little bit of touch ups here and there, not uncommon for most of these, dry laid foundation walls or older foundation walls, but that elevator was not in the first floor or was on the first floor and that has recently come through. I can't imagine what it looks like now after all the rain we've gotten, honestly. But maybe it ends up in the basement and we don't have to knock it down ourselves. Don't know. But it's an issue. This is one of the biggest issues you'll see throughout the whole building in this corner. But the rest of the building is in really, really good shape as far as that goes. You'll see the new block work down here that has been placed in there as far for the entranceway where you walk into the structure. The old beams are big. They're 16 or 18-inch beams, triple layered. Nothing's been moving up there, in good shape. And then been some stone or some block placed under that. Must have been some sagging, but there will be need to be some, just with any old building, similar what do I want to say, leveling. Similar leveling as far as the structure goes. You'll see off the end of this beam. They're not quite touching on both sides of the beam. It could be just a plumb issue. It could be a level issue, but either way, it's going to need some adjustment. And yeah, I guess I'll be right back. Sorry, guys, apparently I can't annotate anymore. Keeps freezing it. So I will just stick to pausing and speaking.
So we're on the first floor there,
That would be.
still in the basement.
It's gonna go up the
This
first
is
and second
basement,
floor.
yes. Let me get rid of this annotate. I won't annotate anymore. It keeps freezing me out. This is where I was talking that the leveling needed to be done. See, they did a little bit of shimming there, but nonetheless, most of this is in great shape. And they've got I'm assuming the sewer runs out the front of the building, being that right there. That is the front entrance over there in front of the block work. So some rubble cleanup. I'm guessing at some point we're gonna have to put these posts on concrete little block foundations, yeah.
That's a dirt floor?
Yes, I don't assume it's gonna kick it around and dig around to find out, but it looks like it's dirt floor. I imagine it's dirt floor.
Okay.
There's concrete there and it's lower than that, so. This would be the east side of the building where they did a lot of the other structural work as well. Some things will need to be addressed as far as that goes. But again, there's an old cistern back there. Not entirely sure. Yeah, the intent on that. It is sealed up, broken, but it is sealed up. Not a lot in. It's not like a giant hole, which is nice. That's one of the biggest pest, or one of the biggest clay pipe I've seen. And then we'll work our way back to the front. So it's all been shored up pretty doggone good. They've got some new boards up above us there. This guy's an IT guy, so he was running wiring. A lot of the wiring can just be pulled out, I'm sure. Definitely some rubble cleanup needed. All right, so we'll go on to the exterior walls down below. Looking at the structure. This is the back side. So the windows still need backside windows. Maybe some more cleanup on the piece there. And this is the entrance to the basement. There are the actual steps that will have to be addressed as well. They're actually in decent shape. They're just not very ideal for walking down and getting in and out. There's another. So all those pipes you see there are for drainage that went into this crock to the left. Now, this crock is what they were pumping the water from directly above it. There was a drain from the roof and the gutters. And they were trying to pump it out and they just couldn't keep up. So that is the basement. So let's do this is the corner of the structure where I was telling you there was some damage for the brickwork that needs to be addressed. So you see all the empty mortar joints, those need to be retucked. That's where a lot of these vines and things were at. So those will have to be addressed. But not all of it, just some of it. And then onto the first floor. This is the entranceway. This is again the beginning of the entranceway where we spoke that this would have to be accessible for this to be portable upstairs, because right now there's only one entrance and back stairs, and we're going to go up that. But this front entrance on the left, needs to be part of this equation as well. When we go through here, you're going to see a lot of the owner's tools and whatnot in there. I spoke with him. He's not willing to. He's not that he's not willing. He's not trying to give us all the materials that are in here. So the drywall, the new doors and stuff he wants to keep, but any of the old doors and old materials we can keep. Most of this is his things. But it's mostly in good shape. Subfloor probably going to need some work done. Drop ceiling in here. And they've got the nice old ceiling up above it. whether it needs to be brought back or not. It's a story. News, this has been, I believe this was repaired into here, it looks like. Yeah, I believe, yeah. So they got new brick in there with over the steel beam for the header across the face of the structure. It's pretty wide open space. Columns here, and this would be the commercial side of the development area where there is a developer in mind who would like to put money into it and make it something. I feel we need to get as much out of a developer as possible just to make it a fair development co-opportunity. This is where we're going to run in. You're going to see into the back corner here where the elevator was sitting.
Keep moving ahead of us.
A lot of room to open that up at the top if we really want to, or the developer wants to. This is where your elevator was. And this is where the water damage has been coming through and dripping onto the stage down below, and it became an issue. The stage itself is structurally, we can walk on all this, so the mold that's down below there, you don't even notice it, you don't feel it until you get towards the back of by the elevator. You can start to feel the floor sponge a little bit, but nonetheless, I'm guessing old lead paint. Still in better shape than 4 to 6. We've got you get upstairs, he's got a lot of work upstairs. So this looks daunting down here, like nothing's done, but he's been doing a lot of work upstairs, prepping for residential. The elevator shaft here was an issue.
Yeah, let's see the apartments quick and then we'll get it on.
Sounds good. So this would be second floor. And this is the back stairs. At this point, if he, without the front entrance, this is the only accessible way upstairs to the back stairs. So we'll get up to there. It's off for the back entrance. Again, why I state as well, the front entrance should have to be a part of this equation. Almost has to be. That side there is the Palmer House side. In his explanation, you can hear him stating that the protrusion there, you see the flat wall there and the protrusion, the floors are all in good shape. The protrusion up here, you can see that's the liquor wall to the liquor cabinet to the Palmer House, so they had to work around that.
And liquor cabinet of the whole house. They're button that back up. A lot of new studs in there. Why did they stud up over that window?
I didn't build it.
I mean, do you think that window's going or staying? What?
I don't know what their intent was with that. The window's in not great shape, so I think they kind of planned on sealing it up, but I wouldn't, there's no reason to. I mean, you can leave it open. So this would be the biggest apartment that's open, available up there. And they've got this opened up to that and all this damage. This was all new drywall and stuff they had done. And then they thought they had the leak fixed and it blew open and it turned into this. There was all brand new drywall on all this. Yeah. So I'm not sure exactly how much of that would have to be remediated or cleaned. Some of it could be cleaned. I'd probably just get rid of it. But I know part of it is part of the structurability and the stability of the building. So I'm not sure exactly what it would take. But I don't think we're going to be able to just go in and remove all of that without placing in kind. But it is sticker board, so it's not terrible. The new lumber looks to be in good shape.
There are 2 or 3 apartments up there.
So there's this one. This is the biggest one. This would be on the south side, the back side of the building. This would be the biggest open one, biggest apartment available there. And then walk through this doorway, this is the hallway you're walking into. We've still got all the old windows in there. You would walk into here, and there's the one across the way right there, which leads you into this one. And this one here is this would be the only accessible way to the hatch right there is through that front. This would be, if you're looking at the building, the front right side. This is the next to the hallway portion of it.
Chase a lot of stuff through there, 4 stairs, you could keep the apartment without needing the downstairs, separate those units up.
And this is as big as those are. So this is the one side. This is why I keep saying I don't think it can be 3 apartments unless you make it a studio. It'd be a really tight studio, but I've never lived in a studio, so I don't know how too tight is too tight, but I could also live in a van too. So I don't need a lot of room, but for as far as renting to somebody, I'm not sure if this would be sufficient enough, but you're talking then if you're making these 2 portions, the other one's very similar size, and the opposite, that side over there. This is your hallway. The right side is the big room, left side is to the only other room. So this side would be another studio possibly. And again, they had most of it finished. That window blew in from something. They're not sure.
You could put the wall out.
They're next, they're side by side, okay, I couldn't see.
Hey, John,
This one and the other one are both side by side. Yes.
is there any way to tell why there's a swoop in the roof? Are the trusses for the roof backing that need leveled back up, or is it just that was the way it was built?
I do not know the answer to that because there is 6 to 7 feet between the ceiling and the actual roof structure. I can't see up in there. I'm not positive. It's being that when the roof gets torn off, you're gonna know, but I don't know the answer to that. I'm assuming with the weight load that's been up there between the winter snow and the rain, I'm guessing that it's the way it was. I think they put new lumber down, but didn't plan on matching it, or I don't know what they did. But the reason for the angle on that roof, I'm not entirely sure why they would have left it like that. I don't believe they would have. I don't know. I don't want to work off assumptions and beliefs, but my assumption would be that they attached it to what was available, which might have been 3 to 4, 6 inches down from the edge of the roof. Which, in case you could add a piece there that would be sufficient to do that, but at the same token, the cost, it just adds a little extra cost to redoing the roof rather than just putting a paste on top of it. So this is the doorway entrance from the front stairwell, or from the front of the property, sidewalk side. And this is the wide stairwell, the only other accessible space available on the property to get to the 2nd floor. This is the one in case we're trying to get him to make sure that he includes in the transfer of the building that we have access to this. It's not a guaranteed, so we want to make sure we get that included if we move forward with this.
Yeah,
You guys see enough?
I've seen enough.
Yeah, thanks, John.
Yep, you're welcome.
All right. So in the packet, there is an offer to convey the property. John, you were doing a spitball a number for Ashley. Did you ever?
So Ashley put me in touch with the gentleman who was looking at the number, or looking at the property. Ashley's, I believe she's with us too, but Ashley had mentioned that, he was throwing numbers around, but it wasn't dead set on any. I don't have a number. I mean, the number I keep coming up with, I dare say, but I'm pushing over half to redo and complete this project. It would be close to $350,000 to $500,000. So, to have a developer come in and push for, they're willing to put in $50,000 for the downstairs to make it as quick as possible. I don't see that as a good development opportunity. I would rather see somebody come in and put in more than that and really see the whole building as their project rather than just the downstairs as a capital improvement or downstairs as a commercial. You know, obviously the upstairs can be commercial as a rental, but there's a lot of questioning and a lot of work to do going into the upstairs, downstairs, basement and roof. Whereas 50K for the first floor commercial space doesn't seem very investing to me. It seems being taken advantage of by us, which, I mean, that's what we do every day, but I think we need to look at this building as a good opportunity to put it in somebody's hands that can bring a couple buildings back to the community and put a commercial front on Village Streets, Cuba, Main Street, and it'd look really good and do really well there. But I think we need to make sure we're investing with the right developer as well. The one that's going to be really invested, not just trying to get a piece or a handout. I don't know I don't even know the gentleman, or the woman. It's whatever you guys decide, we'll go with, or Jason and you guys, I'll go with. That doesn't matter to me, but in my opinion, I would look for someone who's willing to invest something more than that.
And I think
Not that they're not. We just haven't had that conversation yet.
it's only 2 units, so it's not like a big win for us, but it's still 2 units. But if we could intervene just on the front end, even if just getting in there, stabilizing it, applying for the historical tax credit, the historical structure report, now we have something that's we buttoned it up, we put X amount into it, which qualifies for historical tax credits, you're getting money with that, plus whatever money you come in, you're gonna get the historical tax credit, because it is already an historical district. So we could easily spend 100,000 on it just to stabilize it and sell it as is.
Well, you gotta do the roof, it's gonna be
Right.
100,000.
But the rest, yeah, because I'm talking about studies and the stuff like that.
I don't anticipate the roof being 100,000, being that it's fairly flat already, but it's not gonna be, I wouldn't be, but at less than 50.
But that'd be a patch up to redo it totally, lifting up, making a peak, do that stuff, you could get high, but. We don't have to go follow this one all the way through fruition, because if we can do the right thing with the tax credits. There's already people who wanna buy it, we just wanna make sure that we hand it off to the right person in the right way.
Yep.
Ash, you want to speak at all at this point?
I mean, not really. I know that, John mentioned I connected him with the potential developer. And he's gonna be here the first weekend in May. I think, and hoping to do a walkthrough. And then maybe know more from there. But there is a prospective tenant for the commercial space. So,
Okay. Thank you.
And I'll add that this is definitely a project with someone who has already got intent on utilizing the building and being active in it. I think it'll be our first really co-development with a developer. So it'd be a good venture into seeing how this works out, especially with a good developer. If he's as invested as I hope he is, I think it'd work out really well. You know, give them the opportunity to make the building more like they would wish as well. But like I said, you know, we need to make sure that we are.
Yeah, the goal should be to sell it. With the plan.
Yes.
Not.
Ashley, if we went into executive session, would I be able to share what you've shared with me?
absolutely.
And we want to make the motion?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Yeah, like what is it? Oh, to discuss this now.
So.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks. I'm taking notes. I just-
yeah.
I'll second it.
All in favor, 9:42. Okay, so, the developer is.